Caulfield was quite a peculiar individual. From what has currently been addressed, Holden suggests to have many past experiences that may have been a probable cause to his current mental and physical state. He grew up in New York City with his mother, father, older brother DB, younger sister Phoebe, and younger brother Allie, who unfortunately died from leukemia when he was 11. Holden has specifically described his life beginning from when he got kicked out of school for the third time and is too scared to go home. Based on the academic, physical, familial, and social aspects we have addressed, we have come to the conclusion that Holden Caulfield has post-traumatic stress disorder and has suffered from this mental disorder since he was 13 years old. After the onset of his brother Allie's death, because the duration of the symptoms is 3 months or more, Holden specifically has chronic PTSD. He has exclusively revealed his thoughts and encounters to me, allowing me to identify symptoms and many of the triggers that have caused him to act and think in such destructive ways. 3 main symptoms of PTSD are re-experiencing symptoms such as recurrent and intrusive distressing recollections of the event, including images, thoughts, or perceptions. Avoidance symptoms such as staying away from things that remind one of the trauma. In addition, another symptom is hyperarousal symptoms such as self-destructive behavior, trouble sleeping, angry outburst, or aggressive behavior, all of which Holden shows. To begin with, ever since the death of Holden's brother, Allie, Holden has been having numerous flashbacks and thoughts that all revolve or relate to the idea of death. Furthermore, Holden's avoidance issues may come from his permanent state of feeling alienated and alone, and hopelessness. That is common with PTSD. Holden continues to mention frequent dark thoughts and destructive behavior such as smoking or drinking. On top of the devastating death of his brother, Holden has witnessed death of a classmate, James Castle, who jumped out of the window, contributing to his severe symptoms. Overall, it is safe to say that Holden Caulfield can be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder.
I swear to God, I feel like a goddamn madman. Ever since Sally's been gone, I can't help to think of anything but that. I love him so much. If you'd known him, you'd love him too. After Allie's death, I couldn't control myself. I broke almost every goddamn window in the garage. I just couldn't get my mind off the whole stupid thing. Every time I see a goddamn window, it reminds me of the day he died. I just wish he was here. He didn't deserve it. I couldn't stand it. It nearly drove me crazy. Everyone could get in their cars and turn on the radios and go someplace nice for dinner. Everybody, except Allie. Not only that, but I felt like a guilty son of a bitch. Years ago, Allie heard us talking about bringing our BB guns to go shoot some stuff, and I wouldn't let him. I kept thinking about it. I got very depressed. Now every time I get depressed, I always think about him or try to talk to him in some way. Sometimes I can't even sleep at night. If anything, it takes me quite a while to get to sleep. Sometimes what I really feel like doing instead is committing suicide. I feel like jumping out of a window, but every time I want to jump out the window, I think of those stupid boys in James Castle. I didn't want a bunch of stupid rubbernecks looking at me when I was all gory. Pretty much ever since, I've been feeling depressed as hell, and it doesn't help that everyone around me is phony. I don't know, I just want Allie back. It ain't fair that the only good person in life is gone.
Did Holden have many friends at Pensy Prep?
Not that I knew of. He spent most of his time alone in our room. He even missed the biggest football game of the year. Not exaggerating, everyone goes to it. And when I came back, he was just sitting in our room. What a loser.
Why'd you write the paper on Allie's baseball glove?
It was the only thing that interested me and the only thing I could think of. He hated it, so I ripped it and went back to smoking.
As we can see, Holden's life has seemed to be taken over by the death of his brother Allie. It is the only thing that interests him and seems to constantly be on his mind, explaining frequent re-experiencing symptoms.
You went on a date with Jane Gallagher, right?
You mean Jean, right?
Why did you punch Stroud later?
I thought he did something to Jane. I just couldn't stand to think of that scumbag even touching Jane. I got so mad that I couldn't help but lay one on him.
Who is Jane?
She's my childhood friend. I used to play checkers with her. I spent a lot of time with her one summer. She's probably one of the only people that I know who isn't a phony.
You can see how Holden has developed a need to protect the innocents because of his brother's death. Holden associates Jane with his innocence and does not want Stradlater to ruin her innocence.
What was Holden like as a student?
Holden's a good kid, let me tell you. I know he's just a little uninterested. He didn't go to class often, and when he did, he seemed very distant. I was forced to fail him, but I feel terribly sorry for it.
This patient's behavior indicates Holden's inability to go about his daily life, go to school, and take care of important tasks. It is evident that Holden skipped school and is unable to complete important homework assignments such as his essay about the Egyptians, which determined whether he would be kicked out of school.
You even felt that you had to say goodbye to old Spencer, right?
Old Spencer wrote me a note saying he was sick and wanted me to say goodbye, so so I felt like I should, but all he did was lecture me the whole goddamn time. There's this medicine all over the place, and everything smelled like Vic nose drops. It was pretty depressing. I just wanted to get out of there.
Old Spencer's illness and abundance of pills triggers Holden, re-experiencing symptoms, reminding him of Allie and his home when Allie was sick with leukemia. Holden's fight-or-flight response causes him to almost immediately leave Old Spencer's house, also indicating avoidance symptoms.
Did you see this boy at Wicker Bar?
Yeah, pretty sure. I remember seeing him and thinking he was way too young to be drunk. He was out of his mind. He kept, holding onto his gut like he got shot or something. My friend thought it was kind of weird. Real weird.
This excessive drinking is just one example of Holden's destructive behavior developed as an effect of post-traumatic stress disorder, as PTSD is often accompanied by substance abuse. Along with this, many have increased cravings for alcohol as a way to create a sense of well-being. Holden also shows re-experiencing symptoms, such as when he pretends there is a bullet in his guts, specifically frightening thoughts in relation to death.
Can you describe the night Allie died?
I don't remember too much. I was really young, and I don't think I understood what was happening. I just remember my mom was hysterically crying. She was really sad, and Holden was furious. He slept in the garage the night he died, and he punched all the windows out. I was real scared.
Did you and Holden go to Allie's funeral?
No. My mom thought I was too young, and I shouldn't go. Holden didn't go because he was still in the hospital because of his hand after punching the windows after Allie died.
Holden's missing out on Allie's funeral is a huge factor in his diagnosis of post-traumatic stress disorder. Without going to his funeral, Holden received no closure to his brother's death and greatly explains Holden's severe symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorders, such as re-experiencing symptoms.
Holden said you asked him to tell you one thing he likes. What did he say?
He said he liked Allie, but Allie's dead. He always says that. So that doesn't count. He got real mad at me, but it's true. Then he said he would want to be the couch in the rye or something. That's the only thing he'd really like to be.
Once again, we see Holden trying to protect the innocence of these kids who are falling off the cliff into adulthood. It seems as though Allie's death was so traumatic that it has become the center of Holden's life.
Who is James Castle?
I went to school with James Castle at Elkton Hills. He was tormented by the other kids and jumped out of the window. I barely knew him, but he was wearing my turtleneck when he died.
Every time Holden had mentioned a window, it had triggered him to be reminded of his destruction of the garage windows after Allie's death. And on top of that, the death of James Castle jumping out the window. In this instance, we can see Holden re-experiencing symptoms, as the topic is not even related to his traumatic experience. Yet, it is all I can think of.
Holden told me that you guys were occupied and all before they had him, and claims that he had a lousy childhood. Is this true?
I guess so. I hate to admit it, but we probably didn't give Holden enough attention, and neither of us seemed to connect with him. I think especially after Allie's death, we felt very distant. I was so devastated that I went into a state of nervous exhaustion. I am still so devastated, but I could barely take care of myself, much less Holden or any of my other kids.
Holden felt like Allie was the only one that understood him. And without Allie, he felt like he had no one to talk to and no support. And he was too scared to even go home, adding on to the common symptom of feeling detached from his family. Holden's seemingly distracted and distant parents contributed to the lack of support after Allie's death, put him in even more risk of PTSD. While it is common for people such as Holden with PTSD to withdraw from family, it is still important for the person with PTSD to overcome feelings. Also, it is crucial to rebuild one's sense of security despite having a rough past in the family. With Holden's removed parents and his lack of comfort and support from his own family, may have been a critical cause of PTSD.
Why did Maurice punch Holden?
What?
Why did Maurice punch Holden?
That little scumbag only gave me $5 when I demanded 10. After being such an idiot, he should have at least given me the money. I marched back to his room and took the money. Maurice socked him real hard in the gut. It felt really good to get what I deserved, actually.
After Maurice punched Holden and Sonny took the money, Holden admitted to me that he laid on the floor crying, feeling as if he was dying. He then imagined that he would kill Maurice. He'd see me with the automatic in my hand and he'd start screaming at me to leave him alone, but I'd plug him anyway. The patient's desire to kill Maurice reflects his thoughts of revenge that those with PTSD often experience. After the innocent, Holden attempts to sleep after imagining how he would kill Maurice, but finds trouble in doing so. It took me quite a while to get to sleep, Holden stated. The fact that Holden was having a very difficult time sleeping can prove he has PTSD, for people with PTSD may experience a number of different types of sleep problems. In fact, many people with PTSD, in fact, have difficulty falling asleep as compared to people without. In addition, Holden had told me that he felt like jumping out the window. This statement is explained by the fact that having PTSD may also increase your risk of other mental health problems such as suicidal thoughts and actions. As he continued to think, Holden was reminded of James Castle when he stared at the window and remembered the gory incident, and he concludes not to because he didn't want a bunch of stupid rubbernecks looking at me while I was all gory. This acts as a prime example of a re-experiencing symptom that can come from PTSD. Unfortunately, we believe it is unlikely that Holden will be able to overcome this mental illness, and that he will always be at risk for a relapse to some extent. Holden has apparently suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder since he was about 13 years old, and apparently for about 4 years now, his PTSD has gone undiagnosed, therefore allowing his disorder to become progressively worse. According to numerous sources, earlier treatments of PTSD are known to have more success as they reduce the burden of PTSD on both the individual and the society. It appears to us that Holden is very stubborn and that he rarely opens up to people. Without Holden's brother being around to talk to him and help cheer him up, it appears to him that nobody understands him, and ultimately there is no point in trying to explain what he is feeling. Holden frequently has also stated to me, "Don't ever tell anybody anything." Although Holden will probably never fully recover due to the early onset and nature of his PTSD, he has shown some signs of improvement. It seems he is slowly learning that he in fact needs others in his life instead of continuously shutting them out, saying he sort of misses everybody he told about.
You went on a Jane.
You went on a Jane.
Holden's a good kid, let me tell you.
Ask you a question.
Oh my Oh my gosh, I was trying.
Facts and thoughts all revolve. Every time Holden has mentioned a window, it has triggered him to remind him of his.
I started laughing 'cause I saw you take off your glasses.
Holden Caulfield. I can't not do the accent.
Sorry, that's some of my time.
May have been a contributing. Can I see the rest of the text, please?
Why did you punch Stradlater?
Why did I sign up for this again?
I didn't want to stoop. Okay, and then just keep them.
Did you
Say
know?
like a man. Okay, I'm good.
I couldn't see.
You did it, yeah. Kind of stuttered.
That wrong?
Are you speaking or am I speaking?
I'm speaking.
Alright.
Exhaustion. I'm still so devastated, but I could barely take care of my kids, much less Holden or any of my other kids. Wait, I said that wrong.
I started laughing, smiling. Did you like Old Spencer? You had told.